Hi, this is Katrina Adams, and you're listening to Brothers on Tennis.
So Isaac, what's going on with you? What's the latest? What's the good news? Tell me something.
Man, just enjoying this tennis, man. I don't know how many of the folks who are on now kind of was listening to our podcast here, but man, there was some good tennis this past week, bro. Good tennis. Real good tennis. So no, while I, as much as I could outside of, doing my little work from home, I was trying to take in as much of as many of the matches as possible. And yeah, man, just it's been good, man. I was really happy for my girl, Sabalenka, again, running off that double, getting the singles and the doubles crown.
Impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. First time doing something like that. So to me, like I said, I feel like she's laying the right foundation to make her way into that top 10 and really start, kind of taking it to the top players. So I'm very proud of her. Very, very happy to have her on the squad.
Well, and I want to make an observation. I really like the fact that we're starting to see more of the top players again commit to doubles.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe the very top aren't playing, but I think pretty much when you get to the lower top 10 and down, most of these people are playing doubles nowadays.
Exactly, man. Yeah, they're getting out there trying to get after it, and I just think it's a very cool thing, very, very cool thing, and I think that she will see that success a lot more often because, again, she's got a great doubles partner in Elise Mertens, who is also, fighting to be up in the top, 20, top 15. So to me, I definitely feel like those ladies are going to be able to pull in some serious hardware on the doubles court. That is for Shiesel.
Right.
Shiesel. Yeah, man.
And one of the things we learned last week is that Coco Gauff, although she lost in the second round of the tournament, keeping in mind that she won 3 matches in qualifying to make it to the main draw. So she went 4-1 for the week, which isn't bad. Right. She has now achieved a new career high ranking of 47. So this 16-year-old girl is just absolutely doing it.
I'm telling you.
And Isaac, didn't you have a story about how the Tennis Channel commentators were trying to rate her?
Right, exactly. So, they had this little segment as far as, finish this sentence. And they were talking about, Leighton Hewitt is blah and this person is blah. And they said, for Coco Gauff, I would give her a grade of blank for 2020. And so the Noah Eagle, I think is his name, went to Chanda first and said, so, hey, Chanda, what would you put? And she was like, I'd say a BB plus. And she kind of started going into it and talking about, hey, she's done well. And, but, really the pandemic has sort of, kind of gotten her out of her flow that she was in before, blah, blah, blah. And and she was solid. And for me, I was kind of looking at it and I said, well, I was giving her an A-, but, just because of the double faults and her need to, to clean that up. Well, folks, they panned over to Nick Pereira, and Nick was giving side eye and was like, I would give that young lady an A+. He was like, she is 16 years old. She's doing all the stuff you done said that, she's been doing as far as, making it into tournaments and making an impact, dealing with her stardom and blah, blah, blah. And with this pandemic, he was like, there's no way I could give her anything but an A+. And Chandler was kind of like, oh. And I was like, sitting on my couch like, oh. And Chandler very quickly... Yeah, Chanda quickly was like, oh, yeah. And then all the social justice, her speaking out and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, even Chanda was like, it was funny because right when she was like, okay, yeah, I basically I bow down. I got you, Nick. I bow down. And I thought that was great observation on his part because, again, like we were talking about, Bryce, it's very easy to put all these heavy expectations on the 16-year-old. And it's like, she's 16. Think about what she has done. She most definitely deserves an A+.
Right. And I think it just shows how the way we view her has transcended about being so much a phenom as to real professional tennis player expectations.
Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly. And, she to me is living up to it and then some. I mean, so I'm just proud of her, proud of her team, her family. They're doing it right. So no, she gets an A+, like Nick Pereira said. We, shame on us for giving her nothing but you should have saw that side eye he gave though, Bryce. It was hilarious. I was like, all right.
I like Nicholas Pereira, and
I do.
To speaking about commentators, we wanted to acknowledge that I think we mentioned on the last one that they added Nicholas Monroe as an he's an African-American male, primarily doubles player,
right,
to their commentator roster. And in this past week, they've added Kamal Murray, the coach of Sloane Stephens, which I thought was a great add.
Absolutely.
On there.
Yeah, I love Kamal. Love the fact that he's a coach. He brings a lot of different perspectives. So to me, that was a really good ad. And he's got some great fashion sense because, like I said, he was looking like Pharrell up on there with the no socks and the hot pants. I was like, all right, you better come there with a look. All right.
Right. Hey, and I'm all about him expanding his brand because we know he also still runs that kind of tennis academy in Chicago.
That's right. That's right.
So he is definitely doing his thing.
Yes.
And now they just need to get rid of a couple of them other commentators that are just hanging around for the paycheck. Because I tell you what,
goodness.
that daggone Jimmy Arias.
Ooh. Pray.
I don't know if I can do it. I can't do it much longer with that dude, man.
Man, I'm like I said, it's you and me. I am not a Jimmy Arias fan from a commentator standpoint. He's dry. He's not a good sarcastic. I don't mind sarcasm. In fact, I enjoy it. I enjoy a little bit of sarcasm because I think Carrillo throws a bit of that in there. Navratilova will throw some of that up in there. But I like their level of sarcasm. To me, his is just like, really, dude? I mean, it just feels unnecessary at times. So yeah, I'm just not a big fan of Jimmy Arias on the mic.
The vibe that I get from him is that, he felt, and he was kind of a child prodigy when he came up, but I don't think he felt like he got the shine that he really wanted, or he doesn't get the respect for being like one of the OG kids that came up. And part of that is just because he doesn't have, the accomplishments.
Yeah, it's the resume. It's all about the resume. It's a resume speak.
To do that. I mean, he was a good top 5 player, but he was steadily taking the L from McEnroe and Connors and Lindell, and they were like, "Yes, I got Jimmy Arias in my section."
That's all I need to see, right?
Get it, but and I think he has like this kind of very biting sarcasm with the young ones coming up, kind of like hating on them a little bit, and I'm like, man, you letting your whole thing shine through a little bit, and
I completely agree with what you're saying, brother. Like I said, they need to put us on the board of Tennis Channel for selecting the people that they're gonna have as announcers, because I'm gonna tell you what. There'd be a whole bunch of folks getting a pink slip. I ain't trying to play with you.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. You've got to go.
Oh, my goodness. And you know what, the Tennis Channel, and now we're not going to just sit here and bash the Tennis Channel because, they, for the most part, they do an amazing job. And we can truly remember the days when there was no Tennis Channel. So we get a whole lot more than we used to get. But whoever makes some of their decisions sometimes on what they decide to air versus what they put on Tennis Plus and Tennis Channel Plus, and I don't know. They've made some really weird decisions lately, and I don't know if it's because they're trying to push people to pay that $99.
Is it $99?
I thought it was like $99 for the year.
Good Lord. Okay. Yeah, that's probably why I ain't got it.
Right, yeah, no. You know, they not getting that from me.
No.
But yeah, there are a few areas I would like to see them tighten it up, but you never know what's going on behind the scenes with, you know, contracts and deals and agreements and
Exactly. Just never know. You just
no.
never know. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just happy that they got the tennis channel and the fact that we can watch tennis, you know, 24 hours a day at this point. Because I remember back in the day where, man, we'd be just scratching for tennis to be on
Right.
TV. You'd be like, dang, where can I
Right.
find something, you know?
And don't you remember when they used to show matches and then they would show, like, let's say it was a women's match that went 3 sets. They would show like the first set and the beginning of the second set. They would be like, due to constraints with time, we're going to advance this match to halfway in the third set. Like, oh man, really?
Now that used to piss me off because then you pretty much knew who was going to win at that point then. Because it's like, come on, man. Or when they would cut it to only an hour and you'd be like, okay, so whoever wins the first set basically is going to win. Because since y'all done cut the time, you know, it's like, you know, we can add here, people. So, yeah, but no. So we have definitely come a long ways as far as tennis broadcasting goes. So I'm very happy about that. But yeah, you are right, though. There have definitely been some questionable choices that Tennis Channel has made in the past. But hopefully it'll be improved going into 2021. I'm so excited, Bryce, about 2021, though. Very excited.
What's got you excited?
Well, just the fact that we're going to start a new tennis year. I think with everything that's happened in 2020, a lot of the tournaments have learned how to run a tournament and do it safely. So I do feel like the calendar will remain relatively intact. There may be some tournaments canceled here and there, but definitely I think it will be more of an exception based than the norm. So I'm just really, really excited about having another full calendar of tennis, you know, in really the next 2 months. So we just got, you know, our 2-month layoff, and it's not even 2 months. It's about a month and a half because the guys are playing through mid-November. And then, you know, you got a few weeks to just sit back, enjoy football, take it all in. And then next thing you know, January will be here and, hey, more tennis. And Serena can hopefully get that 24. Quit playing around.
Yeah. I mean, really, it is down to this year for Serena.
That's it.
I mean, because I don't see her going into 2022.
I don't either. I really don't either. And I don't think you should. I feel like they need to go on ahead and expand their family, have some more pretty kids. You know what I mean? Just go and have some kids and you know, live your best life. Because I want that for Serena. I want that for Serena and Venus. They deserve it. I mean, they've changed the game in such a way that, yeah, they deserve the time, you know, just to finally sit back and smell the roses, if you will, of all of their accomplishments. But yeah, Serena, she got more work to do, though, man. She got work to do.
And so, Bailey, we see you emphasize you need Serena to get that 24. Why was the need emphasized? You can either type it or do you want to come up and talk about it?
Talk about it, Bailey. I want to hear it. Because we feel the same way.
Let's see here. Let me see if I can get at. I invited Bailey to come up and talk about it.
Yeah, because I'm right there with you. Need is underline it.
Okay. Bailey's gonna just type. They got a lot in their background.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. But no, I love
it. And while Bailey is typing, I know what I need for Serena to get that 24 is because I don't want anybody to even fix their mouth. Not to even fix their mouth to say that somebody else is in the discussion. And so Bailey's saying need it because it seems to me like folks still won't acknowledge her greatness. Right. And that will absolutely seal it at that point. You can't say, oh, well, Margaret Court actually has 24, even though we know that 11 of hers where she just had to beat the lady that was working at the milk store.
Exactly.
You know, so right. So that there's just No, because this is one of the things that I have learned since we've started doing the podcast, and I've done more research, and I've interacted with more people online.
Yes,
there are way more Serena haters out there
Whew.
than I thought.
Yeah, there's a lot. There are a lot.
Yeah, and I know like everybody doesn't like everybody, so it's not like I thought like, oh, everybody loves Serena, but I was surprised to see how many people just really don't like Serena. Now, then again, I look at our current climate, and I look at some of the stuff that's going on in the United States, and then I kind of understand a little bit more. But yeah, it really blew my mind. Yeah, and Bailey's saying her getting 24 makes her GOAT case non-debatable. I totally agree.
Right, because there will always be, regardless of the, what do they call it? The age of what's the tennis called when they open.
Oh, the open era.
Open era, thank you. Yeah, regardless of the whole open era thing, and yeah, I always feel like what will happen is, depending on who's broadcasting, they're always going to put Margaret Court's face right before Serena's if she doesn't equal her in the number.
Right.
And that will make those who are not in the know think, oh, well, how can she be the greatest when you got, this lady over here who's got 24 not knowing the backstory? No, to me, that shouldn't even be something that, is plausible. It should always be her being, first on that list.
Right. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Now, and I'll tell you what's going to be interesting, though, is I think on the men's side, and I first of all, I completely agree with Rafael Nadal. Whenever we start talking about the whole GOAT thing, he said, "Wait till everybody's done playing,
right,
and then we talk about it." But one of the things that I think may happen on the men's side is that I think this is going to be one of the first times that you see people kind of make a departure from just the whole having the most Grand Slam titles, singles titles,
right,
makes the GOAT. Because, obviously we've talked in the past about just, the image and the presence that Roger Federer has had for tennis that kind of gives him a GOATness for the stuff that he's done off the court and the type of ambassador he's been for tennis.
Yep.
And then you got to look at Nadal and just some of the things that Nadal has done. Like, I don't know if anybody will ever win 13 titles at a particular major.
Yep, and counting.
And counting, right? I just don't know that someone will do that and still will have been number one in the world, still will have had Olympic gold singles and doubles, that still will have at least one major title at each of the other majors. It's kind of a shame that he's never won the year-ending championship.
Right.
Because I think that's isn't that the one kind of remaining?
Yeah, that's the gap he's got on his resume, is because, again, it's a fast indoor surface, and that by far is Rafael Nadal's worst surface. It's worse than grass for him.
Yeah.
Especially when you play in the top 8 players in the world. I mean, and that's what makes that championship such a status symbol, if you will, or an elitist, because you basically have to play all of the top 8. Whereas even in a Grand Slam, you don't necessarily have to do that. You're going to run across one or two of them. But in that tournament, year-end, and a lot of people don't give the year-end championship enough credit for that, is you are playing the top 8 players for that year. So everybody who was hot is coming up in there, and you basically got to take them out and to get the title. So, yeah, unfortunately, it has not worked out well for Rafa Nadal when he has been at the year-end championships.
So then, are you one of the people that are of the mindset that the year-end championship should rotate surfaces so that it is more
kind of fair? Well, but I would say yes, but at the same time, it still depends, only because someone who is magnificent on clay may make it the year that it's on hardcourt, and then they may not make the top 8 the following year. You know what I'm saying? So it's in that sense, it's never really going to be completely, balanced and or fair across the board. But I honestly would be in support of it rotating, though. I think that having it on different surfaces, different years would actually be a nice, fun, challenge, if you will. How about you, Dee? What do you think about it?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know if you have kind of the counter argument that is, well, I want an opportunity to win Wimbledon, but it's always on grass.
That is very true.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's the most prestigious of the Grand Slam tournaments, but it's always on grass.
But it's always on. Yeah, why don't you put that on hardcourt? Put it on clay. Rotate the Grand Slam tournaments. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So that's a great point.
Yeah, so you always, I guess, have to kind of wonder, like, when you make a decision like that, what do you open the door for beyond that? But it's not like I'm crying any tears for Rafael Nadal because he ain't never won a championship.
I ain't crying no tears for none of the big three, right? Let us be clear. Them bitches got money, they got status, and it's always, honestly, I think the GOATs thing is just going to be, in truth, it's going to all be based on who you appreciate the most. I think it's going to differ by person, because you can make a case for all three of them. Djokovic is going to win more Grand Slams. He's going to get up there in the same numbers as Rafa and Roger, and probably will surpass them. Like I said, I do believe that Rafa's got a good 2, 3, if not more French Opens in him at minimum. So he might be talking Serena numbers by the time he retires. So, I mean, but to me, again, it's really based on, like you were saying, Federer with all of his Grand Slam titles, with his philanthropy, with his just overall leadership and his aura. It's just, and what's the word I'm looking for? His, when you see something beautiful, what's it called? Oh gosh, I can't think of the word, but it's just it's not eloquence, but just how he looks on the court. Just the beauty as to which he plays. That to me plays into the GOAT. I mean, but some people like the rough and tough boxer Nadal come out there and just rough and I'm gonna play every point like it's my last. And to me, that's their style. So it's always going to be something. It's always going to be a judgment in my eyes.
I think what they should do is they should forget the whole GOAT thing, and they should just say the best there ever was the big three.
I agree with you, bro. I think that's really the only thing that will be legitimate and will bring all of the camps together.
Because one of the things that I think people forget too is not only have they amassed these stats that nobody else has been able to get, they've done it while playing against the other two.
Exactly. It's so ridiculous. They are just stingy. They like, y'all can't get in the middle of this. Nope. Stay out. You can have one or two. Juan Martin and, Cilic. Yeah. You can have one. Team, you can have one. But don't get greedy. And they let Stan and Andy have their little three. So they was like, all right, fellas, you good. We're gonna let y'all be Hall of Fame. He was like, but everybody else. Exactly. But no, everybody else, you better go and walk away from here. You ain't gonna get up with this.
Right.
Yes, sir, man. So no, I agree. I think that is well stated, Bryce. Just say it was, big three. It was those guys. And I still love and just oh God, listen, I just love the fact that all three of them came up and just put the smack down on Pete Sampras's record.
Yes, thank you.
He thought he was big shit when he went out after that US Open. He was like, I got 14. This is my show. I'm going to be the man forever. And those three came along and was like, bitch, anybody scared of your little record? You got that little dinky 14. And Nadal like, bitch, I'm gonna get your 14 at one damn tournament. Get out of here. I'm not scared of you. Sorry ass. Ooh, I can't stand Pete Sampras. Can't stand him.
I know. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, because I remember when he won that, they were acting like that record was never going going to be broken.
Right? I mean, like, it was golden. Like, he got this. He is just the best of all time and blah, blah, blah. I was like, Pete Sampras ain't doing nothing solid.
they were talking about him today, and they were saying the one record it looks like he's still going to be able to hold on to is that finishing
year
number one,
yep. 6 years in a row. That's right. That's his claim to fame. Hey, he can have that. He can have it.
And I still wish that he didn't do that. Oh my goodness! Because I wanted Pete to be relieved of all of his records.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, like I said, what messed it up was Juan Carlos Ferrero. Because if he had beaten Andy Roddick in the U.S. Open final in 2002, Roger Federer would have been the year number one because he got it immediately in January. He became number one in January of, I believe it was 2003 or something like that, and pretty much never relinquished it. So he would have actually had, I believe, 6 in a row if he had that one because he's got 5 in a row. That's right.
Right.
He would have had 6 had he gotten that year in number one. But again, because Juan Carlos Ferrero did not beat Andy Roddick ended up being number one and Federer was number 2.
And you know something else? I was listening to I think it was a podcast or another discussion. I think something else that people forget too is that you have to give Roger some major props because Roger was around playing and having his heyday before Djokovic and Nadal.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact that he's still around and a full-on legitimate member of the Big Three.
Yep.
You know, at this time, he's playing in his plus years while, I think Nadal just kind of crossed over into his plus year. And Nadal, and Djokovic is, probably coming out of in his prime,
Yeah, because I think, is Fed like 4 years older than Nadal and 5 Djokovic?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because I think Djokovic is like 33 or 34, and I think, Nadal's either 34 or 35. So, you got to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. We got the big man up here. Howard, how are you?
Yo,
what up, Howard?
What up? Happy Monday.
Yes, happy meal, happy Monday. I love it, my man. How are you?
I'm good, and it's great to hear from you because I'm here with news.
Oh, we love news. Give us the scoop.
Let me give you the scoop, gentlemen. Tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific, but really tomorrow. Don't tell anybody until tomorrow. Locker Room is going live on the App Store.
Nice! Y'all heard it here first.
Heard it first on Brothers.
That's right.
Bailey and Kelly Mack. Well, I guess you knew. But Bailey.
She knew.
Right?
She knew.
I love it. Well, congratulations.
That is awesome.
Man.
Yeah.
That is great news.
Congrats to you, because you know what? When these tennis fans get on the platform, finally, there's a high likelihood that their first exposure to what a good conversation on tennis is will be a conversation with the brothers.
Hey.
Yes, we are looking forward to it, and we are so excited to start promoting that to our other followers who to come out and join us as well.
Absolutely. So now we can start to have some bigger conversations. Hopefully you'll get more interaction. And I see my guy Bailey Caldwell in the crowd too, who I've noticed is one of the biggest WNBA voices on Locker Room.
I love it. It.
Now when people get on, he'll be their exposure to WNBA rooms. So I think this is beautiful.
Let me just throw this out real quick. A buddy of mine moved to Houston, I guess about a year ago, and he works for UPS.
Okay.
And he sent a picture about 2 weeks ago. He went to deliver a package, and it was Tina Thompson's.
Damn.
House.
Oh.
And she took a picture with him.
What can Brown do for you?
Yeah. So that's my little WNBA story for the week.
Love it. Love it.
That is awesome. So I'm going to hit you for some more data then. So
absolutely.
We're going live with the App Store, which is amazing. Is there any more information on the time frame for the Android?
It'll be a couple months, but we're working on it.
Okay.
But at least in the short term, you'll get your Apple friends on here.
Yes.
And we'll get that soon. We'll get Android soon.
Awesome. That is wonderful news. So you'll have to let us know, if there's a way that you want us to help promote that.
Well, you're going to see it on our Twitter, which you guys follow. So we'll have a tweet tomorrow. I'll love it if you could retweet it. And you're also going to see that that Axios Sports Business Journal is going to write a story about us. So go ahead and write it. Yeah, go for that.
Nice.
Awesome, brother. Awesome.
Nice. Yeah. So at what point are you delivering Serena to us?
Hey. Sir, I'm actually working. I don't like to make promises, especially this is a recorded locker room, so I can't say anything.
Oh, that's right.
But if there's one thing to be true, is I never stop working for the brothers. Never.
Oh,
that's right. That we know that. That's right. We appreciate that fully. Absolutely, man.
Yes, absolutely.
So that is good news. So okay, so I don't know, Isaac, if this means now that my mom's gonna start jumping on.
Oh, all right. I know Mama Nancy gonna have a few things she want to say. So listen, y'all better be ready.
I'm ready. Well, all right, guys, I'm gonna hop off, but just good to see you and hear from you. And I wanted to let you know that firsthand.
Great, thanks a bunch. We really appreciate it.
Howard.
Yes, sir. Love you guys. Bye.
All right,
you too.
Later. So
that's good news, man.
That is incredible, Bailey. Right? Wow. Tomorrow we'll need to holler at our producer tonight and let him bring him in and let him know the good news.
That's right. Absolutely.
And what we're hoping, and what I am definitely hoping to use this platform for, is once we kind of get through this whole what we're doing with Corona, how we handle it, and how we're able to attend tournaments again.
Yes.
I'll be looking forward to be able to doing, very on-site type of discussions with other fans and coaches and players and all that. And to have that available live here on Locker Room, and we'll continue to record it as well and post them on our website.
Absolutely, brother. That's a great plan. I think that is and like I said, I think that was what our kind of pre-COVID plans were to be more of a physical presence at the tournaments. And unfortunately, they kind of COVID flipped that whole thing around. But that's the way to do it, man, is to just be out there in the mix and interact with the typical tennis fans. And it'll be great to be able to finally get back to something, or not shouldn't get back to it, but be able to execute what we were trying to do.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, man. Love that.
So talking about things that happened, while the Corona was going on, we know with some of the women players, I guess men players too, apparently, were doing during quarantine time. And we mentioned before that Taylor Townsend was pregnant, and she will be giving birth to her first child in March. But also we heard that Whitmire is pregnant, and she will be having her first child in April.
All right.
So
baby fever.
We got these quarantine babies coming out.
That's right. Yeah. The quarantine kids are coming. They are coming. Good for her, though.
And you have to imagine, we're seeing more and more mothers on the tour nowadays, and both Taylor and Whitmire both said this is not the end of the road for them. They're going to have their babies, and then they're coming by to the tour. So, once again, when we talk about the Williams sisters being groundbreaking, now granted, Serena wasn't the first mother to come back on tour, but she did advocate and get the WTA to give them the protected ranking.
Right. That's right.
For coming back from maternity leave. So, that's a huge incentive now. for women to come back on the job, because you forget that this is a job for them, just like, many people get up and go into the office 8 to 5 every day.
That's right.
You have maternity leave and you're able to come back and come back to the job you had before.
Right.
They're trying to replicate that now in the world of women's professional tennis.
Yep. I think it just makes sense, It makes sense. This is sort of that evolution. And I think it's a wonderful thing because I just feel like there's been so much pressure and, women have sort of always just been about focus on tennis, and then, wait until late 30s, if you will, to have a baby. And I like the fact that, there are ladies who are like, no, I'm ready to start my family. The guys, of course, they're able to do it, more readily. And so I really appreciate the fact that they are, the tour is recognizing this and they are evolving to better understand it and to support it. So I really think it's a great thing.
And Bailey, once again, coming in with the strong comments, another reason why Serena needs to get her props, because what she and Venus have both done off the court for the game of women's tennis. And yeah, I mean, it really should be a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But unfortunately, and that's another thing too. I want her to come back, and I do want her to get a major title as a mom. She's not going to do the Kim Clijsters thing, because Kim Clijsters came back and she kind of shut it down for mothers, coming back and winning 3.
Yeah, pretty much 3. Yeah, three, and still trying to do more. Yeah, still trying to add.
Exactly. So, she's that's but I know she wants to get at least one. Yeah. And here's the other thing. Since we're talking about Serena, and we got a super fan on here with Bailey.
Yes.
I really, really, really want her to win the Australian, because if she can get 24 at the Australian, and remember, the Australian, she's won, I think
she got like 5 or 6, right?
6. I think she got 6, right?
Yeah.
So behind Wimbledon, I think that's her second most successful
tournament.
Major.
Grand Slam major. Yep.
Yeah, but I want her to win the Australian, because I want her then to have 3 more opportunities next year to even go past that.
Exactly.
I don't want her to have to get to the U.S. Open and it's like, oh, you got to get it done. I want her to get that monkey off her back in January, and then go in swinging freely at the French and especially Wimbledon and the U.S. Open.
Yes. Quietly and selfishly. And I agree with you. I want her to win the Australian for those reasons, but also selfishly, I want her to win so that she can play doubles with Venus at Wimbledon. I really, really want to see them back on grass together again, because I honestly believe that they will win the women's doubles championship if they play together at Wimbledon.
Okay, now if we really talking crazy, if that's what we're doing right now,
let's do this.
If we talking crazy right now, my wish for Serena would be to get the Golden Slam next year.
Yes.
So that because that's the one thing they will always hold that Steffi has.
Correct.
Over everybody.
Correct. Everybody.
Right. And if she can win the Golden Slam, which is, all 4 majors plus the gold at the Olympics.
Yes.
Like, literally, what has somebody ever done that she hasn't done on the tennis court?
Yeah, nothing. There would be absolutely nothing that would compare.
Well, that's where Martina is still in play.
That's true.
Because you have, first of all, just the number of titles that Martina has in singles, doubles, and mixed doubles.
Which is insane.
Yeah. But those tournaments where Martina won all 3 events.
Right. Yeah, doubles, mixed, and singles. Yeah, that's pretty...
Yeah, so we just gonna leave Martina out of the question because
she's always gonna be that asterisk,
right? And they don't like giving her no shine anyway. So that we'll be okay with that one.
Right. Yeah, very well said, brother.
But for Steffi Graf, shut her shit down.
Shut them down.
Exactly.
I'm with you, bro.
And one more thing, and I get what Zena Garrison said about, Richard Williams won't get his due until Venus and Serena retire.
Right.
But and I get that. That makes sense or whatever. But I really want him to get inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame before he passes.
I 100% agree with that. I think that he should. He is so deserving.
Yes.
And he should be allowed, time to enjoy his shine versus it being after the fact. So I agree with that completely, Bryce. I'm 100% with you.
Because I think what they can do is, and once again, this is me asking for a lot because we know how people act.
Oh yeah.
But I think for the players, they have to wait 5 years after they retire.
Okay.
But I don't know that that's the case with the coaches.
Okay.
So my thing is, if that's really true, if next year really ends up being Venus and Serena's last year, I would like to see Richard Williams in the class of 2023.
That would be awesome. That really would be awesome. Seriously.
And they should let Venus and Serena induct him.
Ooh, how nice of a touch would that be? Yeah.
You talk about having the feel on something?
Yeah. I'm with you, bro. That would be incredible.
Now, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Would they just be doing Richard, or would they do it like a Richard or a scene?
Ooh. I think it probably would be just Richard, even though Oracene is, she'll be fine with it. She's part of the camp. She's fine with it. She was off. She give her blunt. She'll be all right.
You're so wrong for that. You're so wrong for that.
But you know what? I love me some Oracene.
You ain't got to give her one.
Yeah. She's like, baby, I come packing. What you mean? She's like, you ain't got to give me nothing. What?
Hey, and look, James made so this all plays into my master plan. James is saying that the Richard Williams movie comes out next November.
Right.
So if that comes out in November of in 2021. I'm sorry. Yep. I'm off. I want to see him inducted in 2022. So
after the movie.
Yeah. That next July. So that rolls right nicely.
I think so as well. I agree with that 100%. I just want him to get it. Just plain and simple. I just want him to get it because he deserves it. And just, it is unfathomable to think that a brother out of Compton who ain't know nothing about a sport whatsoever, could raise two daughters to be number 1 and number 2 in the world and to absolutely change the sport. You just can't. No.
And let me put a little extra hot sauce on that.
Go ahead, friend.
Number 1, a brother from Shreveport, Louisiana.
That's
who
right.
Later moved
to Compton. That's right.
To Compton.
That's right.
And in case y'all didn't know, I'm from Shreveport, so I had to make sure we called that out. From Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yes.
And not only did he do everything that you said he did, he predicted it.
Exactly.
He told everybody this is what we're going to do, and they tried to call him all kinds of crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And he was like, okay. He was like, okay. Now I'm going to take my crazy to the bank.
Right. And actually, they have done much more than he predicted.
Correct. Yeah, the only thing Richard was wrong with was the fact of when they would retire, because he said both of them would be gone by 25.
Right, exactly.
And they now touching up on 40. And they still running.
Right.
I mean, seriously.
They are still literally the 2 biggest names in women's tennis. I mean, Serena's the biggest name, but Venus, even though her ranking may not be as high.
Mm-hmm. They know Venus. Folk know Venus. Don't trip.
Let me tell you what. A lot more people know Venus Williams than they know Sophia Kenin. Am I lying?
You are not lying at all about that. No, that's the truth.
Venus got TV shows and everything. Howard. Howard, we done got on one.
Right?
I can tell.
Oh, man. Love it. Love it.
You're right, though. More people know Venus than Kenan. We don't even have to pretend.
No, don't even pretend.
Right.
So I wish someone would step to me talking about, oh, Kenan. I was like, I'm going to punch you in your mouth. Get out of here.
Yeah, and they're starting. Don't get me wrong. They're getting their shine now. They're getting much more of it, especially Serena, right? But I just feel like as a fan of the game, I hold on sometimes to just the way they were treated in the beginning, and it just annoys me that with so many of the other girls that come up, we're ready to spoil them with everything when they done won a 250 level tournament.
Well, hell, didn't even win. Hell, did Kornikova win a tournament? Let's be clear. Did she win a tournament?
No, only doubles.
Only doubles, exactly. But she was the face of women's tennis because she was cute. I mean, that's, she fit all the qualities. Check the box, check the box, check the box. And Serena and Venus did not. And they did it their way. But that is how they changed the game. They changed the image. They changed so many things that it's just, I'm sorry. You just, that story is just, it's one that is just, it just, like I said, gives me chills every time I just think of all of the things they've done. Go ahead, Howard.
When you think of the ways that our girls have been disrespected over the years, like what stands out to you? Is it Indian Wells? It's Indian Wells?
For me, that's where it always starts. When I think about it, that's always the first one that comes in my head. The fact that you are in your own backyard. You are in the United States. You are in California. You're in your backyard. To have a crowd boo you to the point of, to me, no.
Because you're black.
Just because you're black. Just because you're black and you're a tennis star. To me, that is always the focal point that will pop in my head anytime I think about it, is you would never treat anybody. Lindsay Davenport wouldn't have been treated that way. Steffi Graf wouldn't have been treated that way. Monica Seles wouldn't have been treated that way. But you know what? The Williams sisters were. Come on now. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is.
It's hard to argue against that one. I have quite a few other ones that are probably not. You know what I equate Indian Wells to? I equate it to what we say now about a lot of the, kind of the black male police brutality. They're like, oh, it's so evident now because it's recorded now. You can see it.
It's been there, y'all.
Venus and Serena will talk about incidents like that have happened for years to them. But that one was captured on national television.
Correct.
Right.
Everybody saw that. And so, yeah, that's a hard one. Yeah, that's if you're going to point out like one particular incident. But what I want to call out about that is they were having maybe not incidents to that degree, but they were having experiences that felt similar.
Oh yeah.
Well before that.
And I heard a story. Yeah, it's similar. I heard a story about. Did you hear about Tiger Woods' first Masters?
No,
because we forget Tiger and Serena and Venus were happening in roughly the same time frame. It was all part of the lexicon to us. But at Tiger's first Masters, some former Masters winner was like interviewed, like, how do you think he did? At this point, Tiger's like 23, and he's clearly the best golfer in the world. Dude said something to the effect of like, that little boy is pretty good. And then said, next thing they're going to have to start serving fried chicken at the next Masters.
Oh yeah, that was wasn't that Fuzzy? Wasn't it Fuzzy?
Yeah, what's that food's name?
Yeah,
I know.
I absolutely remember that. I absolutely remember that. Because see, I used to live in Augusta for 3 years.
And, Lord.
Yeah, I went. Actually, one of my employees, his dad was the head groundskeeper at Augusta National. So I went. Yeah, so I went to the practice rounds, and Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fuzzy Sailor.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That's who it was.
Yeah, yes, that was so disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
And here you go. You know it's disrespectful when white people tell you. you know when white people tell you you're wrong, you know that's when
that's wrong. That's when you know you're wrong.
You know you're wrong.
Right? And what I don't understand, and I'm gonna get completely crazy with y'all, is why is it that fried chicken get associated with it? Everybody loves some damn fried chicken. Shit. That's the best
right.
thing.
It's
That's
crazy.
the best meal ever. So why you I've never understood that, because I know all my white friends love them some fried chicken. So the fact it is so ridiculous to me.
Anyone who makes that association and isn't enjoying fried chicken, that's more fried chicken.
Wait a minute. You know what? What I thought was the funniest thing
right. Go ahead.
is you know that talk show host Wendy Williams, right?
Mm-hmm.
She said when she was getting ready to become on TV, she said she loves watermelon and she loves fried chicken, but she said those would be two things you will never see her eat on camera.
Like in public, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who said that?
Wendy Williams. She's a host or TV
like
host.
I know Wendy
talk show host. Yeah, you know Wendy Williams.
Yeah, when I'm home, my mom's always listening to her bullshit.
But she was like, let's be clear, I love both of them, but you will never catch me on camera or on film.
Yeah, because it's the stigma. Yeah, it's that whole stigma around it, because it's just, I don't know if I ever told you this, Bryce, but like Amy, my niece, Amy will not let she was like, do not buy any of my children monkeys. I do not approve of any monkeys in my house. She will not. Okay. Amy, that's one of those things for Amy. And it just goes back to, the whole racial thing and no, do not bring a monkey to my niece. She will look at you with some straight side eye and make you take that thing right on out.
Not even Curious George.
No, not even Curious George. She's like, no, Uncle. I was like, for real, Ames? She was like, no, Uncle. That's not going down. And it's deep like that for some folks, man. And so I attribute the fried chicken and watermelon, Wendy Williams not wanting to do it on camera. It's just a stigma that has set with folks.
Let me say on a related note, just to put into perspective the differences in approach and the nature of the challenge that these stars faced. At the same time that Serena and Venus were rocking the beaded braids, and basically becoming the first black voice or modern identities in tennis, right?
Yep.
At least on the women's side in this era, Tiger Woods was saying Coblinasian.
Yes,
right. I remember that.
You remember Coblinasian?
I do.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
Coblinasian. So it's just interesting because, I think for a while there, Venus and Serena were black heroes. Now obviously they're larger than life. Now we can't even claim them. Now they've got to the point where America claims them.
They've been stolen from us.
They got stolen
from us.
Michael Jackson, the Williams sisters.
We lost them in the racial draft, but
Lionel Richie.
I love me some Lionel. I love Lionel.
I love Lionel.
Stolen.
But yeah, Tiger said, basically at an early age, Tiger said, screw the brothers.
Yeah. Basically.
I'm not black, I'm Coblinasian, and I'll leave all that dealing with racist fan stuff to Venus and Serena.
Well, but look at it.
But he wasn't devoid of it.
You have identified, two different approaches, right?
Yep.
And what Tiger's approach gave him very early success with the whole endorsement.
That is true.
Yeah. And Venus and Serena struggled with that for a long time.
Yes.
Well, all right. I want to put that into perspective a little bit because I'm pretty sure that the Coblinasian comment came after the Nike deal.
Oh, was it after the Nike deal?
It was after the Nike deal
because
it was after the Nike deal, and he made that comment on Oprah after he signed the Nike deal. And then his first Nike commercial, the story goes that the first Nike commercial ever for Tiger Woods was the Hello World commercial. Do you remember that commercial?
I do.
Tiger Woods, he says, "Hello World." Then they did this other. Nike didn't know what to do with him. They were trying to make him fit into sort of the this like modern view of golf, where like he was more of an athlete than a golfer, and so they were putting him in these crazy like athletic looking shoes, and that didn't really fly on golf courses, and they were trying to fit this multiracial narrative. So he had his second commercial was the "I am Tiger Woods" commercial, where a bunch of kids of all these different races just said in the camera, "I am Tiger Woods, I am Tiger Woods, I am Tiger Woods." Then at the end, he says, "I'm Tiger Woods," and he hits an iron shot, right? But then they finally realized that all of these, and then he said "Coblinasian" on Oprah, and that just pissed the black community off, because the black community was repping Tiger.
I was like, what?
And then they were like, wait, you're in on this multiracial stuff? Like, you're black to us. So then they stopped. Nike finally figured out, like, all of that marketing was really weird. And that's when he did the juggling commercial. You remember the juggling commercial?
I don't remember the juggling one.
I don't remember that one.
The juggling commercial was when Nike figured out how to actually market Tiger Woods. So the story goes, they were there filming a commercial for his third commercial, which was you've probably never seen it before, but it's a commercial where basically he's at the driving range and there are like 30 people lined up behind him at the driving range, and they're all hitting independent shots. Then he hits a shot, and then the guy behind him hits the same shot, and then they get in sync, and then they all start hitting perfect shots, and it's like there's Beethoven playing in the background, and then he stops hitting, and then they all go back to hitting terrible shots. So while they were on scene filming that commercial, while he was waiting between scenes, he picked up a 7-iron, and he started juggling a golf ball on the 7-iron.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yep.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then the director was like, yo, that's a fire commercial. Like, or that's cool. Like, that should be a commercial. So they filmed him doing that, and that became his first ever hit commercial. And then they realized, like, instead of trying to make Tiger fit some broader world peace narrative, we should just, like, let him be Weird Tiger, and that's actually interesting. So
You know what's funny is, it was funny how when they were initially trying to make him and like Roger Federer be like best friends, and they would show up at each other's events and all that, and Nike was behind that. And then when his wife took that iron across his mouth in the car for trying to be Ron Jeremy, Roger Federer ended that like.
Yeah, he was like, nah, pimp. Sorry.
Now what they've done in this comeback of Tiger Woods, they've paired him with Nadal.
Yep.
And now you see him in Nadal.
Is that right?
Yes.
Because let me say, the other day on tenniswarehouse.com, they had a Nadal x Tiger Woods collab shoe. And I was I was just browsing like to see if new colorways came out.
Exactly.
Of our shoes, Bryce, the ones we have. Right.
Well, because I'm telling you, Roger was like, I'm out. I'm not having that affect my brand. And Rafa want to have everything Roger had. So he was
like, I'm good with it.
Yeah. I'll take my chance with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My goodness. That was a good conversation. Yeah, that's
I'm super deep right now because I was recently going on a little Tiger Woods history deep dive. Because to me, of all athletes that have ever existed in my lifetime, he was by far the best and the most electric. I mean, some of the stuff he did on the golf course just makes no damn sense.
I know.
Yep.
Did I tell you the subdivision I live in is called the Tiger Track because the house he grew up in is on the street behind me?
You did it.
Yeah. So that house is there, and his mom used to work at the credit union that I used to work at.
Oh,
and
wow.
So there's pictures of her. Actually, I know a lady who gave Tiger a set of like kids clubs when he was like 3 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is she getting her Nike royalties?
No, she's still working at the credit union.
What's crazy to think about, the other thing I'll say is that on one hand, it's easy to say that, these big companies are racist,
Right.
Because they are, because Venus and Serena did struggle to get sponsorship deals very early. But to be fair, Nike gave Tiger Woods $40 million at a time when like that deal that's like he got like the LeBron deal, the second LeBron deal as like a kid before he ever played a single round of professional golf. Like Phil Knight, the story goes Phil Knight was or Tiger was playing on the amateur tour and he was still at Stanford and he was playing an amateur round at a course called Pumpkin Ridge outside of Portland near Nike. And so Phil Knight just pulled up there to the tournament with a couple executives and a check and said, you know, we want you to be a Nike athlete and trust me, we'll figure it out along the way. And they gave him $40 million right there.
Wow. That's awesome. But there's one thing we can't ignore either, because you got black and then you got black.
Right.
That's very true.
That's why I brought this up. Because I want you to speak to it. Because is that what happened?
Because Tiger was like, oh, he's black, you know. but you know, Serena Venus was like kind of lock your car door black. And so that was a whole different ball game when it came to putting out endorsement money.
That is the truth. Yeah, them beads is what did it, man. And the
beads were not helping the story.
Isn't it crazy to think that like beads were considered so black and offensive? Like my little sister when we were growing up had beads, and I was like, that's like the most dainty, girly thing possible. Mm-hmm. But from the eyes of the white market, that's like super black and that's not cool. And then the crazy thing also is like thinking about how you could have such a negative judgment over someone with the physical stature of young Venus was like a little twig. Like, what are you mad at?
Right,
you know?
right,
like,
right.
Like, it's just crazy how deep-seated that racism was. And then the last thing is to complicate this a little bit is that it seems like it's a game of sort of racial relativism because on one hand, Tiger was both not black enough that Nike felt comfortable giving him the deal, but also black enough, or in the words of many, many Nike executives in the immediate time after he got his deal, he was, quote, more athletic looking than any golfer we've ever seen. And you can even say that throughout every one of their briefings. They did a shareholder call after they gave him the deal when Wall Street said, you're crazy. You gave this 20-year-old kid $40 million. Like, the marketing people at Nike are crazy. And they kept saying he's the first time that we get to approach golf from an athletic perspective. Like, and to me, that just says he was black. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what they were trying to say.
And you know what's interesting? There's kind of a comparison there even with the tennis, because for a while, they solely referred to Venus and Serena as their athletic ability and having this power game. And they were these brutes on the court. And
Chris Everett.
And it wasn't until...
Did you say roots on the court?
No, brutes.
Oh, okay.
But I like where you were going with that.
I like that though, yeah.
But it wasn't until much later in their careers that they started to get credit for the strategy they used. You know, but they weren't considered strategic thinkers or anything like that. They were big brutes on the court, and they were just blowing these dainty, nice little girls off the court, right? You know.
Right. Well, and it didn't help the fact that Martina Hingis was in the mix as well, and they've always kind of talked about her creativity and her angles and everything like that, which she had. I mean, I'm not going to take nothing away from Martina Hingis because she did the damn thing.
Yeah, Martina Hingis was the GOAT.
Yeah, she did some good things when she was out there as a young one. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of speaks to that. And like I said, fellas, I mean, we have to remember, we're talking about Tiger Woods, who's a lighter-skinned brother, and you talk about the sisters. Again, you cannot also take away from the fact that it's also gender. Don't forget about the gender piece as well. It ain't just about black and white or light skin versus dark skin. It's about male and female. Yep. And you got two girls who, you know, come from the hood, and they got their beads that are considered kind of hood, and they female, and you supposed to be all dainty and cute, like y'all was saying. And they was like, oh, anybody trying to be dainty and cute? We trying to get out here and win.
Right.
Shit, anybody trying to be cute? I'll be cute when I win. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
and so I think a lot of that played, to their disadvantage. Similar to the other ladies that came before them, you BJKs, your Martina Navratilova and all of them, is because they weren't seen as being dainty and cute. Chris Evert was, and that's why she got awarded a lot of the stuff that she got. So yeah, we got to always put that element in there as well. The gender piece played a heavy role, and again, they changed the landscape. To me, that is why their story is so ridiculous. They changed the landscape across the board.
And I think an added element of their prowess and how impressive they are in both cases is the how do you put it? The predetermination that sort of occurred in their careers, right?
Yes.
Here's Tiger Woods. Your dad tells you at the age of 2 years old you're going to be the best golfer in the world. He literally tells you that.
Yep.
And he puts a club in your hand. And then he raises you in Southern California, and you become, without a doubt, in my opinion, the best golfer to ever play the game. And then in the case of Richard and Venus and Serena, your daddy starts teaching you how to play tennis when you're 6 years old, and he doesn't stop. And he tells you you're going to be great one day. And then you become the greatest, female tennis player ever, and her sister. That's incredible.
And the other thing that I want to throw on for Richard is, at least with Tiger's dad, he played hello golf, right?
That's true.
Richard didn't even play tennis.
Richard
he learned it from a book.
Yes.
Learned it from a book.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
That's insane, right?
That's crazy. That's a legendary daddy. But, and I was telling Kelly this the other day. It's like, because in my deep dive, I was reading a lot about Earl, and then I was starting to understand a little bit more. Like, as a kid who grew up in the 90s, born in 93, like, really understanding Earl makes me understand my dad a little bit more, and like what he had in mind for us. But I feel like if you're a dad in that day, you see Tiger Woods, you see Venus and Serena, you're like, damn, I can make my kid do anything if I actually focus.
Right.
That's right. Exactly.
And it's so crazy. Like, in a lot of ways, I think they might be responsible for influencing our modern conception of the helicopter parent.
Of the what?
The helicopter.
Yeah.
A helicopter parent that's the term for those parents that are just, all over their kids, taking them to and from practice, picking them up after school, like always got their kids in a new activity, and they're just as involved in what their kids are doing as the kids are. I think, Earl and Richard are like the
right. And they started early. Wow, that's and just because I'm thinking about it right now, I even laugh about Andre Agassi's story.
Yeah.
Because remember, Andre Agassi's dad started with his older siblings, and each one of them didn't pan out. And Andre was the baby. He was the last chance he had for having a child that could play tennis. And the other ones were decent. They played, junior tennis and all that, but Andre was the one who had the right combination of hand-eye coordination, athleticism, and what he called, I forgot the term he used, but it was basically, he was saying killer instinct.
Right.
So when you think about Earl, he had one shot and made it happen, right? Venus and Serena. Richard did it on the one shot with both of them. Think about it, because one of them could have been good and one of them may not have been good.
Right.
He got both of them.
Oh,
good.
yeah.
It just,
James Lauer said in the comments, Stephon Marbury, all of his brothers were electric basketball players in the New York City area, but Stephon was the best. And then obviously we look to the modern case of this, Lonzo Ball. I mean,
right.
LaMelo's got the juice and he's the baby.
Yeah. You have to say it's something about the youngest. Well, one of the things that we've said before, and I think my mom was the first one that gave me this idea, with Serena being kind of like the GOAT of tennis, she said that Venus was the prototype. You know, there were things in Venus's game that never got fixed that were fixed in Serena's game.
Yeah.
And that's why, and Richard always said, you know, Venus is very stubborn, you know, and Venus can shake off things really well. So for Venus could lose a match and be like, okay, you got me today, but I'll get you tomorrow, right? But he said Serena wasn't stubborn. He said Serena was mean. He said Serena was mean like a mama.
He did.
And hated to lose, and would do anything to win. And so you saw that development in Serena's game over time, right? She used to be just like Venus, you know, just very power and all that. But then you started to see Serena develop elements in her game with the angles and the spins and everything, which started to give her what we call these, you know, plan A games, plan B games, plan C games. Right. Where Venus always just kind of had plan A.
Right.
You know, either it was working that day or it wasn't. And these were things that were refined in Serena's game that you know, were learned from the mistakes that Richard made really with Venus.
Right. And I think it also speaks a little bit even to their body type as well. I think Venus, of course, is a lot longer and leaner like Richard, whereas Serena's a bit more kind of developed like Orsine. So it just makes for, you know, I think technique wise, you know, you've got Serena's technique to me has always been much better than Venus's on the forehand and the serve side. I mean, backhand Venus. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, even though I think Venus has the more tennis body.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I'm shocked that Serena can move around.
Yeah, Serena's a great athlete. That's the
right.
good genes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, well, I'm just glad we have lived in this period to have you know, witnessed these, because I'm telling you what, as we get older, you know, hopefully, I mean, we're gonna be like those old people. Like, I remember when Venus and Serena first came out.
Exactly.
I remember when Tiger Woods, his house was behind my house. In the barbershop, right?
Yeah,
barbershop,
exactly.
telling stories.
Exactly.
Oh wow. Well, look, this has been a great conversation. Howard, thanks for coming up and not only sharing the App Store news, but also bringing in the Tiger Woods comparison to the Venus Serena story. I will ask you one more thing, since you've been doing a deep dive there. We've heard about, you know, both a Richard and a Venus and Serena, you know, stories and movies. Is there any talk out there about a Tiger, or is it too early for him? You're on mute.
Sorry. I was on mute. You said, is it time for a Tiger movie yet?
Yeah. Have you heard anything about a Tiger movie or an Earl movie or?
Oh my gosh. Let me just say, I would be so sad if they did the Tiger movie and made it about Earl. It should be about Tiger, because Tiger's a freakazoid and Tiger's life is just crazy. But it's not too early. It's not too early.
Because I'm going to tell you what, Earl, it may need to be a different movie so it doesn't take away from Tiger, but Earl got a story.
Yes. I mean, Earl's got a story. Earl might have lived in as many places in this world as you did, Bryce.
Right. Yeah, Earl has definitely got a story. But you haven't heard anything yet on Tiger or Earl.
I mean, no, yeah, I don't. As far as I know, there isn't a Tiger movie. The problem with the Tiger movie, and this is the challenge with people like this, his life story is too long. It's been too incredible. I mean, he was on that TV show at age 3 years old. So it's like, if you want to tell the true lore of Tiger Woods, you have nonstop, straight, progressive action until he turns, how old is he now? 40-something? Until he turns like 40. Like, this is the first time in Tiger's entire life that there's a down period this past 7 years. And even then, even if you wanted to tell the story of the down period, you'd still have to fuck that up because last year he won the Masters, you know?
Yeah, right.
This guy doesn't rest. This guy has been at the top for so long. And even when he wasn't at the top last year, he still managed to make for a crazy story. So I think the Tiger movie should actually be a doc.
Right.
Or the Tiger movie should actually be a limited series.
Mini series.
Oh, miniseries.
Right.
Yeah, like The Last Dance or something. Yep.
The Last Dance. I mean, just his dating scandal. It has to be The Last Dance, and that reminds me. His best friend is Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Now, and that one was true, right? I mean, versus maybe they were initially set up by Nike, but then they forged.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, the story on that one is that Tiger and MJ got along because, well, first of all, Tiger hated the press after his first GQ story where they quoted his crude jokes about, penises, which we don't have to recap here. But then after that, at age 18, he said, I'm never doing a story again. So he hated the press. And apparently Michael Jordan took interest in him because of the level at which he was winning, and Nike put them together at Michael's behest. And then as they became friends, Tiger was like, yo, this is the only guy on earth I can open up to. This is the only guy who's as competitive and as high up in his field as I am.
Right.
And so that's how they became friends. And even though, Michael's 10 years older than Tiger.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And that's where there was an opportunity, you would think, for some good mentorship,
It would be an opportunity for good mentorship. Instead, it turned into those two and Charles Barkley hanging out at strip clubs and casinos.
Wait a minute, that's a form of mentorship as well.
That's mentorship. Don't trip.
That's a form of mentorship.
Listen.
Hey, shit, mentor me.
That's hilarious.
That's what they did together. That's the story. Is they just went to strip clubs and casinos together. Lost millions of dollars on the golf course to each other because Michael Jordan loves golf and he's crazy.
Yep.
That sounds like a pretty fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, they both had drama, serious drama in their lives, and
that's true.
Wow. So, well, okay then. Well, this has been a nice long extended edition of Brothers on Tennis this week, but
featuring Brothers on Golf.
I know. Well, there's an association between the two, so
that's right.
That's right.
But we appreciate you, Howard, for coming up and chatting it up with us this week, and we'll probably have to put this one on our website.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. See you on the App Store tomorrow, gentlemen.
Hey,
yes, absolutely.
We'll be out there.
Yes.
All right. Well, Isaac, any final words you have for this week? This was a good one.
This was a good one. I think we got pretty deep on this one, which is cool, man. Good talk, and hopefully the folks out there are, enjoying themselves, and that you have a good rest of your week.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll be back here same time next week, 6:00 p.m. Pacific time on Locker Room. Everyone have a great one. Take care.